I get a phone with the head the leader. I want to say leader. That's not the right phrase, but the lead guy in the shop comes to me. He says, "Somebody wants you on the phone." I says, "Okay." He says he's Sammy Davis Jr. He says, "Of course we know that's bullshit." I says, "No, it's not bullshit. If a voice on the phone tells you he's Sammy Davis Jr., that's exactly who it is." I get on the phone and he says, "Well, I'm back. How about tomorrow afternoon for lunch at his house?" Right back where I was. There was it was a year during the show that I was on my own and lived on my own. But he never forgot his promise. I know he would never do that to me, ever, ever, ever. Now, we've covered a lot of territory in this. Because we went from the beginning to near the end.
We're good. We'll finish these 5 minutes and take a break for a minute. So, back...
By the way, you could use some of this stuff I'm telling you now later on when we get to...
we will.
Yeah.
There's just a couple things that we want to cover.
Yeah,
so
go ahead.
Like a sequential storyline to throw together. So, when you first met Sammy, go back in the beginning, when you guys first started to form your friendship, did you look at him and say, "Man, this guy's special"?
No.
Not so. It's something that just grew up.
Not like that at all. Quite differently from that.
No.
People might think that it wasn't that at all.
Yeah.
Because to me, he was just another school chum that liked to duel down the hall, have fun with me. I was his school friend. I was his buddy. I wasn't. And when we get into the golf stories, I got a lot of those because Sammy loved to play golf, until his dying day almost. But when he lost his eye, very hard for him to play golf. Yeah. I want to tell you a story about that. The story I'm about to tell you, we'll go into this somewhere along the line.
Hold on 1 second before you jump into that, because we only have 3 minutes left on this tape. So, and in this first episode that's written up, some of the big issues are the racism, that you guys faced early on when you were traveling. So tell me about, because you were just a white guy who never really experienced racism, and he was sheltered from racism. So tell me something.
We both ran into it head on at the same time.
Tell me a little bit about that. Some of that.
Sophie Tucker, big star. Ted Lewis, big star. Vaudeville days, big star. Had a club in Miami Beach. It's important I say the word beach. Sammy was asked to play there. I drove down in the car with Morty Stevens, which was Sammy's conductor, who we picked up while playing one of the other clubs. At any rate, so we crossed the Mason-Dixon line while driving. I drove across it in the car with Morty. There's the sign, the bridge. You cross here, you're there. You're in the South already. Fine. Sammy and Will, and they went on a train. Will did not want to go at all. He got off the train, and he's looking around for somebody to pick up the bags. Who's going to pick up their bags? They're black. They're on Miami Beach. That's not going to happen at all. And as you walk out, you see the signs. Whites here, niggers here. That's when it hit. And we went right from there to rehearsal at the club. And outside the club, there were 2 water faucets next to one another, white, black. There was a camera store next to the club. We haven't even got to the camera things yet. But Sammy and I were both avid photographers. Wherever we went, there was a camera on our necks. Thus, the reason for all the books I'm writing about the pictures. A bus comes around the corner. White only, black only. That little section of time, I bet you it wasn't 15 minutes. All of that happened during that time. Walked out the club, and that's what hit him. The thing at the train station just seemed to pass by. It was noticed, but passed by. Those water faucets and those 2 buses was when Sammy really got hit with racial prejudice. Really got hit by it. Now, that story goes on a little bit further.
We have 1 minute left.
Well, I don't know that I can get the whole story out in 1 minute about the two hookers from New York. That's not going to work
Yeah,
out.
don't do that one. I know the story. I did read it. But,
Or about the cops pulling him up, arresting him, wouldn't let him go. He couldn't get back to Miami proper.
how about just in like one sentence? What